Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Evenings at Reyes. I'm your host, Reymi Reyes. Evenings at Reyes is a monthly talk show in which each episode I will have on a new guest from a different career field, ranging from actors, musicians, digital creators, filmmakers, and even a chef like our first guest here today. I would like to introduce and welcome everyone to the show, Kimanie Travoy. Kimanie, thank you so much for coming on.
Of course, of course.
We met when I was an intern at BronxNet last April. You have come on, you had a whole spread of food, and it was the last day of my internship, and what a way to go out on the internship with you, bringing in all that food. And Dr. Bob Lee, the host of that day, was like, just, you know, he could have stopped talking about like how good the food was. But now you're here. Thanks so much for coming on.
Of course, and that was such a pleasure to do. And I didn't even plan to like cook something to bring that day, but then I was just like, you're a chef and you're going to talk about your food. What's the best way to let people experience it?
Right.
But by letting them try it.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you guys enjoyed it.
Cool. And what have you been doing since then? Like, it's been a while. It's been like, you know, it's been 10 months since, basically. Yeah. Any updates?
Yeah, life has gone by incredibly fast in a short amount of time. And a lot of it started when I was here last year, because initially I spoke to Dr. Bob February of last year, but that was remotely on FaceTime or Zoom, whichever one we want to call it today. And since then, I've had a few more of my pop-up events, but then over the summer, scheduling-wise, it just was almost impossible to do, because a lot of people don't really know this, but when I do my events, 9 out of 10 times, I'm literally the only person. I am my own sous chef, expo, transport, you name it. So I decided to scale it down to something that's a little bit more manageable and intimate. And I started doing these supper clubs, and those have been an amazing experience. I've done a few in open spaces, and there was even one where my best friend asked me to do one specifically for her birthday. So I threw a Kim's Kitchen supper club for her birthday last summer. But it has evolved into even more ways, such as this past November, I did one in the community in collaboration with an artist friend of mine, where we did one. It was for Friendsgiving, and I created an entire spread. It was a select group of people that were invited, and we were dressed up for the occasion, and some beautiful photos were taken for it. But getting to watch my food become kind of like the connective thread between so many of where my life is has been so beautiful to watch, because one of the things that I said last year is food is my love language, and seeing that play out in real life has been just probably one of the wildest dreams to see come true.
That's amazing. And I did want to ask you, because you have Kim's Kitchen, and on your Instagram you did post something about, you know, wanting to build the community, that's spelled KIMMUNITY. Talk to me about like what you want to build with Kim's Kitchen, or further, you know, build with this brand.
So funny enough, I have kind of evolved the community into what I like to call KFC.
Okay.
So really the thread behind that is my joy in watching people eat my food is not from a success factor, it's just watching people really sit down and have a conversation. So that KFC stands for Kim's Food, Champagne and Conversation.
Yeah, I like that.
And I really enjoy watching my food bring people together. So that example that I mentioned where we did the Friendsgiving, that's a really great example of that. And as a matter of fact, we utilize that experience as something where we can bring a little bit of philanthropy in it. And as a side part of that event, we also held a fundraiser for the devastation that had happened a couple weeks before in Jamaica when Hurricane Melissa kind of just really damaged the island pretty severely. So we held a fundraiser, and that's what I mean by about building the community, because, you know, these were people coming to enjoy my food, but they're also giving to a good cause. And it's been great to watch something that you just think of, something as simple as I made some like ridiculously good deep fried turkey wings with a nice little Szechuan glaze, but watching people show up for that, but then also support the broader cause. That's what I mean by, you know, building out the community.
That's amazing. And, you know, you are from Jamaica.
Yeah.
Born and raised.
Born and raised.
But you came here. What age did you come to New York?
My gosh, I came to New York 31, almost 32 years ago. So I came here when I was 10. And I started cooking when I was 12.
Wow.
and I started catering when I was 16. My first event was my sister's christening and for my now eldest nephew, Chucky. And there's a funny story behind that too. I'll never forget that there was this one young lady that was about to sit on my sheets, and I had white sheets, and I made curry, and she was about to sit on my sheets with the curry. And if you know anything about curry and white sheets, they are not great together. And I just remember just like losing my cool. I was like, what are you doing? Get off. But that's a highlight of that day. But I'll never forget it because I just also remember so many people coming up to me telling me like how great the food was. And imagine being 16 years old, catering a party for like 20, 30 people at that age. And it was life-changing. And, you know, here we are. What is that? Do the math in your head really quickly. 26 years later?
Something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay, cool. And I did want to ask, like, how did you learn to cook? Like, what was that journey? Where did it start?
So, broad truth, there are some like beauties behind it, but there's also a bit of, I won't even deny it, there's a little bit of trauma behind it. The beauty behind it is I grew up in an environment where my aunts, my mom, and my dad were all great cooks. Everybody was cooking. And like I said the last time I was here, that's where I always felt love, you know, growing up in Jamaica, around the table, eating with my aunts, my mom, my dad. And my mom is the more practical side, you know, this is how it's done. And my dad is like the wild, I'll just throw anything into the pot and make it work. But at the same, that was the, you know, the initial, you know, introduction to it. But my real inundation with it, like after years of therapy, I've learned that, you know, when I was a kid, I actually suffered from really bad childhood depression, but I'm a kid and I don't know that. You know, emigrating from Jamaica to New York, I was an effeminate, dark-skinned kid growing up in the Bronx in the 90s. People were not nice. So I turned to food as almost sort of a comfort. And I spent so much time in the kitchen cooking, trying different recipes. The downside of it is I gained quite a considerable amount of weight. And by the time I was like 15, I was 5'8" and 220. But I made you some food, it would slap.
Yeah.
So you couldn't take that away. So like I always find the beauty behind the madness because, you know, flowers can grow in dark rooms too.
Yeah. And you mentioned your father. I did want to ask, because you came out to him just recently, really. It was about a year ago. No.
6 months ago.
Yeah, 6 months ago in October, right? And, you know, you went to Jamaica for that. You said it was the sole reason, really, to go there.
Literally,
it was just to come out to your father. How did that feel? And how was it really to kind of let that out, you know?
My gosh. So I feel like there's a running theme now, beauty and madness. So I went to Jamaica specifically for that one reason. And in the most poetic thing, as soon as I get there, mind you, apparently they had a drought for months. But as soon as I get there that day, there's a giant thunderstorm. And as it's finished raining, we go to the store to get some stuff to make red pea soup, which is one of my signature dishes. And on the way back, you know, I just said it. And one of the things that you said is, you know, like coming out. And I remember that's how I used to frame it. But then after doing the deed, I decided to reframe it as letting him in, because it wasn't a situation where I was coming out of myself. I was letting him in onto who I was. And the most beautiful part of that memory is, I kid you not, we just really went back to his house and we cooked red pea soup together. And an additional anecdote from that, when I made that red pea soup, he was clowning me, because a parent is always gonna judge.
Yes.
He was clowning me for how I made my soup and how I made my ingredients, you know, smaller and more palatable and da-da-da-da. And literally a month later, I was on a trip in Europe, and he called me while I was over there, and he would not stop raving about how the way how I made my soup with the smaller, more manageable sizes is how he's making his soup now. So who has the last laugh? Right.
Perfect. That's a very inspiring story. I love the way you said it, letting him in.
Yeah.
That's really great.
There's a great follow-up to that too, actually.
Go ahead, yeah.
This past January was his birthday, and he actually came to New York he never left the island of Jamaica. He came to New York, and I got to spend around his birthday with him, and in almost like the most serendipitous follow-up to it, he came to my apartment, and as he's at my apartment, I started making the stew version of that same soup that I showed the recipe for. It's called stew peas. I made that for him, and we literally just sat in my apartment, watched Girls Trip, and Tiffany Haddish, you have a new fan in my dad. We watched Girls Trip, and we just had great conversations. So it's been interesting watching how our relationship grow and turn into something that a year ago, if you told me this is what it would have been, I would have told you you're lying and you couldn't pay me.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I did have to ask because when you were on BronxNet, you had told Bob Lee that you believe in no dessert. And as you can see, you look amazing. And on your Instagram, you look even better. But yeah, no dessert.
So there's a kind of a reason behind that.
Okay.
And it's not so reason A, like I said, if I cook you dinner and you make it to the point where you want dessert, I feel like I failed. You should be full. You should be on the floor. You should want a coma, a nap, something, because I make like grandma food. Stick to your ribs food. But at the same time, too, growing up in Jamaica, I was a kid that when I felt like I wanted some sweets, I would just go outside and get a mango, go outside and pick some cherries, go get some guavas. So that's something that's like
natural fruit.
Yeah, so even to this day, you go to my apartment, there's a giant fruit tray that has mangoes, and all my friends know that like I will stand there and just chop some mangoes up, put some tahini, hot sauce, and lime. That's my idea of like a sweet snack.
Great. All right. Now it's time for the fun part, or as you might be calling it in your head, the scary part.
Right.
We're gonna be doing a game called Do You Know You? Kimanie, you will be tested on if you truly know your own work. Pictures of dishes you have made will be shown on screen, and you will have to name them correctly. Okay? These are all, I got these screenshots from your Instagram, so hopefully, maybe you can start thinking about what you've posted the last couple of months in the year.
Hopefully, I'm working on my plating. That's the one thing I've never usually cared about, so hopefully they're at least pretty.
Okay.
I'm more concerned about how the thing tastes, but I've learned that people eat with their eyes first.
Okay. All right, so let's see if we get the first picture. There it is.
Oh, that's easy.
What is it?
Red pea soup that...
Oh, perfect. Easy.
And that's the soup I made for my dad.
Yes.
When I came out to him.
Yeah.
Let him in.
Yeah.
Reframe.
Yeah. And what is red pea soup?
So red pea soup is probably one of my favorite things in the world to make. It is something that has evolved over the years. So, traditional slave trade, you couldn't afford the expensive cuts of meat. So back then, they would get the scraps, the chicken feet, the cow's tail, the this tail, the that tail, the pieces that were considered undesirable. And, the folks back then, they figured out ways to put these ingredients together and make them into just like this harmonious dish where the flavors are deep, rich, hearty. And one thing about a Jamaican soup versus like an American soup, we're gonna have some food in it. There's gonna be dumpling, yam, name us something.
Coconut milk?
Coconut, yeah. So I sometimes get into arguments with my people actually in Jamaica because traditionally in Jamaica they don't particularly love using coconut milk, but one of my things that I like to do is to take the traditional and kind of just like flip it with things that I've learned being up here. And the final result is divided on whether or not you should or shouldn't use coconut milk, but I am team coconut milk for the rest of my life.
Cool. All right. Let's go on to the second picture. Let's see what it is.
So that is...
Give me the name that you called it like a full
something
meal.
Specific. Okay,
yes.
I think I remember what I called this one. This one was Uptown, Downtown, Surf and Turf.
Yes, Uptown, Downtown, Surf and Turf. Perfect.
Yeah, because like it's a mixture of the Uptown, the more lavish ingredient. There's lobster there, and I believe I did like an escovitch lobster for that, and then the Downtown, something that's a little bit more street, more rootsy, more vibesy. That's the corned beef with the corn in it. And growing up, when we were hungry, you got a cheap tin of corned beef, mix it, or we call it bully beef, mix it with some corn or cabbage, and you serve it with some white rice. Fabulous.
Yeah,
absolutely delicious.
Yeah. All right. Let's go on to the third picture. Oh.
See, now this is where my heart really sings. I know nowadays I'm most known for my soups, but what really made people start paying attention to how I cook was my oxtail. And it also is part of, and yes, that's oxtail with butter beans.
Yes.
But that's also a part of like what inspired me to really go out into the public with my food, because I remember when I moved to Mott Haven, I saw a bunch of articles about Black Michelin star chefs that are in New York. And I decided to go to one of these places and I ordered the oxtail because this is a Michelin star chef at this restaurant. And I was there with my friend and I was like, no shade, but mine is better than this. And everybody was like, yeah, it absolutely is. And that, in my head, all I could think to myself was, if this person is a Michelin star chef, and no shade to that person, you know, congratulations, this is what your career field is what you've always gone for. But in my head, I started thinking to myself, if this person is a Michelin star chef, and I know my oxtail is better than that, what the heck are you wasting your time for? And then I just came outside and I started doing the thing.
Great, great. All right, let's go to the fourth picture.
Ooh, so this is another soup, and just to know me, I'm king of soups. I love soups. But this is a soup called manish water, or manish water. And the story behind that one is this is a soup that's actually traditionally served at funerals.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this soup is usually served at funerals. And the reason why is because we will have a 9-night, or what we will call a dead yard, where we celebrate the life of the person that passed. And most times you'll, get one whole goat and you'll take the majority of the goat and you'd make curry goat out of it. And then you take the scraps, like the head, because it's traditionally made with goat head. But for my audience, I did not use the head. I used other parts of the goat, but I kept it as close as possible utilizing burnt goat. But yeah, a lot of what goes into it is very similar to what goes into a lot of the Jamaican soups, but this one is specifically using goat. If you can find it, sometimes it's a little bit hard to find, but burnt goat meat. But yeah, this is a soup that's usually served at funerals to honor the dead.
Wow. But you made it, you made it at one of your supper clubs.
Yeah.
Was there like were there other Jamaicans there?
Yeah, so
Did they like, why is there this, why are we having this at a supper club?
So that supper club was the one where I told you my best friend specifically requested for me to throw one for her, and her favorite soup is that soup.
Okay.
So, if the client says this is what they want and it's one of their favorites, you gotta give people what they want.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun. And it's also real. Now you're gonna make me make it. I haven't had it since
Go
then.
ahead, let's do it, make it. All right, let's do the fifth picture. Ooh, Kimanie's a little stumped.
No? I'm just trying to make sure I don't misspeak, because I have a tendency to make ginger scallion lobster often. However, I don't think I've ever taken a picture of my ginger scallion lobster and put it up. So if it's not ginger scallion, and based on the fact that I see onions and peppers, that is escovitch lobster.
There you go.
And that is also the same kind of lobster that was on the side of the Uptown Downtown.
Okay.
So it's traditional. You're using, like around Easter time, you'll use fish, and we'll eat escovitch fish all the time. It doesn't even have to be Easter. It could just be a Sunday. Just eat some escovitch fish with rice and peas. But I decided that why wait for Easter, or why have to use fish? Because I was in a really big lobster kick last summer, and there you go, escovitch lobster.
Yeah, and that was actually the one that you brought to BronxNet.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That was the one you brought.
That was the start of it
Yeah,
then.
yeah.
Yeah, that was the start of it.
All right, let's do the sixth picture.
Okay, so this is one of my favorite late night snacks.
Okay.
This is what we'll call fritas, or AKA fritters. They're made with codfish, so codfish fritters, and bully beef, so that same corned beef. Right. And normally I am the king of, it'll be 1 a.m., 2 a.m., and if I'm hungry, I'm not gonna order DoorDash, Uber Eats. I'm like, y'all want some fritters? And the whole room will be like, yes, we want some fritters. And my best friend, same girl who she asked for the supper club, years and years ago, she said to me, you know what would be really great with fritters? some bully beef. And I was just like, that sounds weird, but sure, I'll try it and I'll make it. And ever since then, I have this tendency to make my corned beef with fritters.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. How long does it take to make, though? If it's a late night snack, it must be quick, no?
30 minutes max.
30 minutes? Okay.
Max, because you're really trying to get as much salt out of the salt cod. And then you make a batter, really simple batter, because I've seen some people like completely overcomplicate the recipe, and I'm big on simplicity. Flour, salt, black pepper, scallions, Scotch bonnet pepper, and water. Add the fish in, mix it around, you're done.
Cool.
That's it.
All right.
Fry it.
All right, let's do the 7th picture. There we go.
That, I remember was at the studio.
Yes.
That is a jerk shrimp fried rice.
Yeah, yeah.
A jerk shrimp fried rice.
Correct.
Because here's one thing about me. I'm also very resourceful when it comes into the kitchen. So I learn how to make a lot of dishes on the fly, and I hate throwing away leftovers. So way back when I started making fried rices, because I learned that fried rice, you usually have to, use a rice that's already been made. And then I started experimenting with it, and I decided to, what if I made jerk fried rice and then put some jerk shrimp on top? So that was the inception for this dish. No, everything was fresh on this one. I would not do that to some folks.
It was delicious either way. It was good either way.
But yeah, that is the brainchild behind that one.
Cool. All right. We got one more.
Okay.
So far, you got all of them correct. Let's see if you can do this last one. I think it'll be easy. There we go.
Rum punch.
There you go.
Yeah. I might be known for my soups, but if somebody's ever had one of my rum punches, I think I'm probably even more known for that. Because I have seen my rum punch do some insanely strange things to people. Because the thing about it is, you see it coming and you don't smell it, but then about like 5 minutes later, you're just like, what in the heck did you put in this? Because cooking is science. And over the years, I've kind of learned how to mask the abhorrent taste of alcohol and make it a little bit more palatable. And I can't reveal all those secrets, but it just, especially on a summer day, you drink one of those, you'll drink like 3 of them, not realizing there is a bucket ton of alcohol in it. But they are fab.
But you called it something different, though. Rum tum.
Oh, the rum tum punch.
Rum tum punch.
The rum tum punch. Yeah, I don't remember that now. I miss the tums. Because I probably should have kept that, because you're going to need some tums after I'm done with it. Think about it.
All right. Well, Kimanie, you did all 8 correctly. You know yourself.
I tried to.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All righty. So I did want to ask, like, out of all those dishes, or I guess mix of dishes and drinks as well, which one's your favorite, or which one would you say maybe is like your top 3, top 2 out of those? If you need me to remind you, I can go down the list again.
Oh, I remember them.
Yeah?
My favorites out of the ones shown, I would say, are the red pea soup. Like, I just don't know how to make a bad red pea soup, man. Like, that is just in my backbones. My red pea soup, my oxtail, and like I said earlier, like, I'm king of soups. I love a soup. I got to throw the Manish water in there, too.
Cool.
Honorable mention to the fritters. I feel like I'm leaving the lobster out, though. I do love my lobster at the same time, but it's just like, when it comes to me eating, the more Jamaican and rooted in things that remind me of childhood, the happier I am. So I pick the ones that make me feel like the little kid, but just growing up and I'm still eating them.
All right, cool. We're going to do a quick game to set outro. We're going to do a chef pet peeve. So we have a bowl, a large bowl that is barely full. Thank you so much, Michael. You can hold that.
Okay.
You can just go ahead, pick one, and we're to see if you agree with them. Maybe you have a story behind it. Yeah, let's see.
Chef pet peeve.
Let's
see what this one says. Last minute head count. Oh my God, yes.
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 Just read it one more time.
Last minute head count changes. And let me say, this goes beyond even just being a chef. Anything that you're planning, and I'm pretty certain a lot of people out there will agree, head count changes very last minute can be just a pain, because especially on the cooking side, when you're doing planning, you have to think about ingredients, plating, seating, those things all matter and they have a cost attached to them. So when you decide that, oh, can I bring such and such and such and such? Well, sweetheart, I only got like 10 chicken legs and you talking about you want to bring 12 and 13?
Come on.
Absolutely not. We're not doing that.
Right.
We're not doing that. So that one is,
All right.
similar, even if you're going on vacation and all of a sudden I got to bring Tom. Nope. Nope. Another one?
Another one. Let's do it. Let's do it.
That one was cute. Being asked for a discount at... Yes. Being asked for a discount after the event.
No.
No.
Come on.
First of all, it's after the fact.
Right.
Second of all, you asking for something after the fact is you diminishing the worth of whatever was presented.
Right.
That's just not cool, and that's low-key disrespectful to whoever it is that you're doing it to. So do better, folks. Do better.
All right, let's see. What's this next one?
The next one. Clients changing the menu. Per my last email, any kind of last-minute changes towards like the tail end, you can keep it. I'll back out, and you just eat McDonald's instead. I'm just saying.
I love it. I love it.
Well, these are fun. Being asked to just whip something up with no notice. Okay, so this one is one I'm going to have to disagree with.
Okay.
Because that is probably one of my biggest strengths.
Okay.
Is just going into a space, seeing ingredients, and figuring out how to put them together.
Right.
I've tried to explain it before, but I finally was able to articulate it last year. So the way how I taste things, and this is going to sound so phrasing, is I taste things in shapes. So I try to emulate a circular taste so that taste hits every quadrant of your tongue. So I walk into a space, I see that, and I'm like, well, that will hit here, that will hit here, that will hit. And I actually really find whipping something up out of the blue with no notice actually kind of fun.
Yeah, okay, cool. Let's do one more real quick. We have less than a minute left. Let's see what this last one is.
Guest hovering in the kitchen while cooking. Absolutely. Leave me in my space. 100%. Let me do my thing. If I need help, which is not usually often, I will ask for it.
Right.
But let me just do this thing over because you're going to come on and talk about it. Why are you putting it? Mind your business.
Right.
Just sit down. Wait for the food.
All right.
I love
Kimanie,
these.
thank you so much for coming on. I'll take the bowl from you. Yeah, put those in there. You come get them, Mike. It's fine. You come get them. Kimanie, again, thank you so much. Where can people find you on the interwebs?
All my socials on the interwebs, although I'm mostly Instagram and TikTok, are at Kimanie, KIMAAANIE. And I have officially started a YouTube channel.
Oh, exciting.
So there will be more to come on that. I don't want to give that out yet because it's like a blank slate right now. But for right now, follow on at Kimanie and on Instagram and TikTok.
Okay, alrighty. Kimanie, again, thank you so
good
much.
sir.
I can't wait to see and, possibly eat.
Oh, you will.
The future of, your career. It's exciting.
I appreciate it. Thank you
so
for
much
having me.
coming on. All right, cool. Thank you guys so much for watching this first episode of Evenings at Reyes. I have been Reymi Reyes. This has been Kimanie Travoy. Again, thank you so much. We'll see you in the next episode.